A few weeks ago, I did a live video of me batch cooking for the week, which is what I often do on the weekends, is I batch cook in my kitchen, so I don't have to cook on the weeknight. But a lot of you said that you'd love to do it, you'd love to batch cook, but it's just not realistic for you. For any number of reasons, you have other things going on, or you just don't want to do it, and that's fine. You can absolutely cook on weeknights and only take a few minutes. I'm going to do it tonight. Actually, I'm going to do a couple of videos of me coming home from work and doing a quick, easy weeknight recipe, because that's what I do sometimes. Sometimes batch cooking doesn't happen on the weekends. It's not going to happen this weekend because I'm helping a friend move. So tonight I'm actually making a recipe from the meal plan that came out yesterday. And the neat thing about this is I get to show you guys a little shortcut that I do and also just how I make it work. I haven't been to the grocery store yet, but I saw this recipe on the meal plan and I really wanted to use it and I really wanted to make it for dinner. So I'm making it work with what I've got. And so that's what I'm going to do. So if you have the meal plan, like I said, it's the meal plan that came out yesterday. I'm making the Mexican Phillies, which is a huge member favorite. Everyone loves this recipe, and we do too. So the big modification I'm doing is normally, because it's a Philly, you serve it on like a hot dog bun. But my husband and I actually don't like hot dog buns, so I'm just using plain old regular sprouted bread. And a really funny story about this is I was in Trader Joe's last week buying my bread, and there was a Trader Joe's girl and a regular shopper, and the regular shopper was asking the Trader Joe's girl, like, my friend's vegan, I don't know which bread to get, and the girl's like, oh, you can't get any bread because they all have yeast. And I'm like standing there eavesdropping, and I'm like, I've been vegan for 10 years. I've never heard this about yeast. Like, I understand that some people don't eat bread that has honey in it, but I was like, yeast. So when the Trader Girl's associate was done talking, I walked over and I was like, hi, I've been vegan for 10 years and this is the bread I eat. She was like, oh, thank you. Anyway, funny story. Hey, so let's get started. I'm going to make the Mexican Phillies. The total time it takes usually is somewhere between 5 and 8 minutes. It's a super easy recipe. Like I said before, it's from the current meal plan from getmealplans.com. One thing I also do is if I'm not using bread, sometimes I'll make a potato, or I'll do a potato on the side, or I'll cook some other vegetable on the side, like green beans, just because we like to eat food. And so to kind of make it realistic in that way, I'm just going to go ahead and cook one of my potatoes in the microwave in my potato pocket. I love this thing. I have 5 of them. I swear I don't work for the company. I just really love them. So I'm going to throw that in there to show my multitasking. All right, so while that guy's getting going, here we go. And so I have my pot out already, and the recipe calls for bell peppers and onions, but I'm a big fan of cheating, so I bought frozen bell peppers and onions already pre-cut, because one less thing I have to do means one more way that it's faster. And since those are frozen, really, if I had some forethought this morning, I would have put this in my fridge or on the counter, so it was not frozen to make it faster, but I wasn't really forethought this morning. So I also needed mushrooms to be able to make this, so I'm just going to chop these up really quick while that's heating. And I don't like stems, so I always remove the stems. Sometimes I'll just buy the pre-sliced mushrooms to save myself even more time, but I actually really like the big portobello slices, so that's why I'm using those, but buying pre-chopped mushrooms would be another good way to save some time, so throw these guys all in here. I also have water on standby. With that, I'm going to get more water. And now this is the hard part of basically just standing here waiting for my food to cook. But I'm actually adding some green onions just because I like them. It's not part of the recipe, but I have a whole bushel and I like them. And so I'm just going to add these as like a little garnish for our meal. Plus I feel like those little touches, those little garnishes make home-cooked feel so much. It just makes home-cooked food feel more elegant and more exciting, and you don't miss out so much. guys might even actually see like my husband come home from work and the dogs are at my feet and they're going to start crying for their dinner. It's going to be a very real life experience. I also have my refried beans already ready to go. I could be warming these up right now. I just don't happen to like my refried beans too warm. I have some guacamole that we've been eating all week. I even have some lime in case I feel so spirited, and then my seasoning. But really the hard part right now is just waiting for my vegetables to get going, to cook to my desired tenderness. Plus, because it's frozen, it's going to take a little bit longer. But that's like the hardest part here. I got my potato going too. So since I'm just hanging out waiting for things to cook, let me see what questions are coming through. Okay, one of the things. Oh, thank you, Allie, for the compliment. Yes, everybody, you need a potato pocket. They are amazing. But make sure you get a real one. There's like some generic ones. They don't work so good. Dawn, question, do you worry about microwaves and killing the nutrients? Actually, microwaves, but through a whole bunch of different research trials, have found that microwaving is actually the way to get the most nutrients. It actually preserves nutrients more than anything. Dr. Greger at nutritionfacts.org, I think that's the right one. He has an amazing video on microwaves and all of the research, so definitely check it out. But I live and die by my microwave. I used to hate it. I used to fear it. I didn't have one for years, and then I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? It makes my life so much easier between reheating and everything. Like, my potato's done now, 4 seconds to go, so I'm all about it. I get that it's not for everybody, but for me, like, just cooking is a challenge every day or every week, and making food for my family is the most important thing to me, and so I'm all about the shortcuts. I'm all, like you saw, I'm using frozen vegetables, I'm using canned beans, I'm using guacamole in a package. Like, that's just me. There's a lot of people who can do stuff from scratch, and like, more power. I have such mad respect, but that's not my reality. Like, it's so much better for me to just take these shortcuts, and that includes using the heck out of my microwave. Oh, so many hearts and thumbs. You guys want to see the pugs? Like, they're like totally, hey, lady, when you come home, you feed us. Like, what's happening right now? And I'm like, I know, I'm going to feed you, I promise. Oh, good, glad. Yeah, please use your microwave. Seriously. So one of the things you guys might hear me say a lot, especially in blog posts when I talk about like how perfection is basically the enemy, is that there's so many things to worry about in life. Like, there's so many things that I'm worried about on any given day. And so I just think about my 100 worries, and a microwave, it's not in my 100 worries. Like, the health of my family, sure, that's in my worries, but I just don't have enough worries to go around. And so I just triage my worries like that. So my veggies are starting to get going. And really, I'm just standing here waiting for them to cook. That's the long part here, is waiting for them to cook. So normally what I would do in this instance is, while I'm waiting for them to cook, is one, I clean up after myself. I take this time to do that so I don't have to do it later. And for me, that involves putting things in my baby. I have a compost outside, and I have this little buddy that I use during the week so I don't have to truck it all the way to my backyard, because okay, so that's one of the things that I do while I'm waiting, is I clean up, things go in the recycle bin. I'll also a lot of times pack up our lunches for tomorrow, or I'll even prep food. When I cook every night instead of like doing a batch on the weekend, this is usually what I'm doing, is like right now I'm prepping the food for tomorrow while tonight's dinner is cooking, because I'm literally just standing here. There's nothing else to do. Like, I could throw in a load of laundry, but I did that yesterday, and so, I could. And normally, if I wasn't with you guys, I'd be jamming out to a podcast, but that's me. And speaking of podcasts, the Shortcut to Slim podcast is back. Episode 11 came out on Sunday, 12's coming out this Sunday, and then in 2 weeks, season 2, the whole new season's coming, and it's on neuroscience, and I'm really excited for this new season. Ooh, more questions. Yep, really, seriously, guys, the microwave's not bad. I'm jealous of your clean veggies. Mine from the store all need a good scrub. Some of mine do. My potatoes are really nasty. When they come home from the store, I have to soak them in water, and then I have to get a scrub brush and scrub them. And then other vegetables are clean, but I also don't mind. Like, I kind of feel like that's nature. I don't know. I'm really bad. Like, I don't really rinse or wash anything unless it's super gritty and super dirty, and then it's just because it's texture. I don't want to chew on the dirt. I think I got all the right. Thanks for all the thumbs up, guys. You're the best. Christine says, what if you don't like mushrooms? You could use a different vegetable or just not make this recipe. You could make a different recipe, but like zucchini or eggplant are great substitutes for mushrooms. And actually, when I was making this recipe a few months ago, and I had a friend coming over who just detested mushrooms, I just used, I think it was like zucchini and summer squash. And so it wasn't too Philly-like, but it was still a really delicious sandwich. And my vegetables are almost done. This is awesome. So I'm really just seconds away. What I am going to do is check my potato, because sometimes with the bigger guys, 4 minutes isn't enough, but yep, see, look at that. Look how perfect. It looks like it was baked. So nice and soft. Ooh, hot potato. Okay, sticking you back in there. All right, so finishing up what I was saying I was going to do. And with me, I just cook stuff until it's about the tenderness that I like it, which isn't super duper tender. I like stuff a little crisp. My husband likes it super soft, so we meet somewhere in the middle. Also says tofu or soy products, yay or nay. It's sort of like, I wouldn't say yay to something super processed. Like, I avoid like the fake meats and stuff just because I don't think that they're particularly healthy. Once in a while and a treat is fine, but soy itself, like whole soy, like tofu, as long as you're not allergic, it's totally fine. But every single meal plan recipe has a soy-free variation, so if you are soy-free, you don't need to worry about it. We always take care of you. Oh, more loves. Okay, so that's my guys. They're basically done. I added a little too much water. I was a little excited, I think, with my water. But it'll just cook off, so that's not a big deal. Just going to add my seasoning. And you'll see I'm even cheating and using store-bought seasoning because, again, I just do not have the time to make my own seasoning. Every now and then I'll get a wild thing and start making stuff myself. But lately, that has not been the case. And that's it. I am done with dinner, and all I have to do now is basically plate it, which I'm going to wait until my husband gets home, and I think he's coming because the dogs are barking. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope this helped you see how easy it is to cook dinner even on a weeknight when you come home from work and you're tired. It's really, really quite simple, and it's worth it, especially when you have a plan in place already. As I mentioned, I used the Mexican Phillies from this week's meal plan. Yummy, yummy, yummy. This was the family version in case you guys were wondering which one I did because I want leftovers for tomorrow. And I think I got everything. And the question, oh, someone asked if I'm writing any more cookbooks. No, I am officially retired from cookbooks for 2 years now. But I do release a new meal plan every week with tons of new recipes that are even better. So check that out. You can visit getmealplans.com. And have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining me while I cooked our dinner.